The following is a presentation of the Black Hollywood Live Network, the first online broadcast network dedicated to African American entertainment. Hollywood redefined. From Los Angeles, California, presented by Maria Menounos and streaming live thanks to Akamai Technologies. This is Black Hollywood Live. Success is the new black, featuring in-depth interviews with today's top businessmen and women. Black Hollywood Live. Hollywood redefined.
You're listening to Black Hollywood Live.
And now, the host of Black Hollywood Live, Success is the New Black.
God, how much I like that music.
I know. It's definitely a good Friday song.
Yeah, it is. It is. I mean, it's a hot Friday.
Yeah.
A lot of traffic Friday in LA.
That's
but
true.
It's a good song nonetheless. Welcome back to another episode of Success is the New Black on Black Hollywood Live. Joining me, as always, in studio, the beautiful Miss English Cleveland. How you doing?
Hey everyone, I'm good.
You like how I dropped my voice when I
You
talk
did.
to you?
I'm like,
Yeah, I got
hey,
you.
it's
Yeah,
Friday.
Oh, you know it. It's a good week indeed, because joining us in studio is a man who really needs no introduction because everyone has seen him on TV.
Everyone.
Everybody's seen this dude on TV.
Everyone.
I mean, we're going to get into his other aspects of his life, but if you've seen one of the longest running court shows in history, he is the longest running court show bailiff in television history. Mr. Petri Hawkins Byrd. How you doing, brother?
I am well. How are you?
We're doing pretty good, man. Trying to stay cool.
Okay, on a hot Friday.
On a hot Friday.
In Los
In
Angeles.
In Los
July.
Angeles,
Yeah.
with the traffic backed up.
Yeah, you know it.
Just as it's known, just another typical Friday in
Yeah.
Los Angeles.
Right,
You know,
right.
It's like this in October, man. Yeah. That's
We
when the
pay
rest-
for the weather. Right?
Yeah, you know, the rest of the country will be hating us by then. It's 80 now on Christmas? Yeah, man. But yeah, you dressed for it though, man.
Oh yeah, man. I'm going tropical, man. I was back east last week, and I sported this shirt, and somebody was like, "Man, you just thinking about being in the tropics, huh?" I'm like, "Yeah, you got to dress for where you want to be."
There
Right,
it is, man.
right.
Yeah, you got your Bermuda look going on
That's
over there,
right.
brother. Cool. Well, shoot, let's get right on into it.
Let's do it.
Man, so born November the 29th, 19...
Man, come on, man.
See, that's why I ain't say it.
No, I'm
That's
proud.
why I left it.
1957.
There
I'm
it is.
proud.
Okay, he
in
said
fact, I'll be 57 this year, so this is my 57th year, and I was born in 1957. So.
Cool.
You look good.
Yeah, I was about to
you.
say, bro, come on, black don't crack, man. You look like you
what I'm
know.
saying? It's nice that I came from a predominantly black family.
Yeah.
Like I tell people, I come from a mixed family. My daddy was black, and my mom was black as hell. So,
Right. Perfect. Perfect.
Exactly. Man, so you're from Crown Heights,
Crown Heights, Brooklyn.
Brooklyn.
Yeah.
Stand up.
That's right.
You know it, man.
That's right. Anywhere you are, man, you say Brooklyn, you could be in Zimbabwe somewhere, you could be somewhere where nobody's ever seen anybody from Brooklyn. You know,
Yeah.
you go, oh, I know it not in Brooklyn. And then somebody go, oh.
It's got a lot to do with hip hop.
That's what I'm saying. It's all about
That's right.
Jay-Z and
Yeah,
all of them
It's a
Jay-Z.
worldwide phenomenon.
Bed-Stuy, Biggie.
Right.
Everybody
Biggie.
know Brooklyn after Biggie. Yeah,
Mary Tyler Moore,
Yeah, you
No,
know.
I'm
Right,
just
of
kidding.
course.
Barbara Streisand, we got to throw everybody in the mix. you
Yeah.
know?
Well, I mean, because I got a couple of them written down. You know, other people from Crown Heights, Clive Davis.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
That's-
I didn't know that.
Well,
No. That's a first for me.
Oh, you
Clive
didn't even know.
Davis,
Yeah.
He probably was my next door neighbor.
Right.
what
Could have
I'm saying?
been.
Now.
You get music royalty right next door.
That's
man.
right.
Yeah.
That's right. Now I can't get in his neighborhood.
Yeah, see, nah, not now.
Unless I'm delivering something.
Yeah, that's it. You got to sing your way all the
Mr.
way
Davis,
up.
could you sign for this package, please? And Crown
Right.
Heights, hey.
Hey.
Yeah, Crown Heights is giving us Clive Davis, Shirley Chisholm, even
Yeah.
Mattis Yahoo.
Oh, really?
Yeah, Mattis Yahoo's from Crown Heights. I didn't know that until I started researching for this this interview today. Yeah, it caught me completely off guard, man. But
Man.
what was it like growing up just in that melting pot known as Brooklyn?
Wow. Okay, so living in Crown Heights is also like the Hasidic Jewish enclave, and it was strange. There's a street called Eastern Parkway. Right now, that's where they hold the West Indian Day Parade, which years ago, when I was a kid, was the Memorial Day Parade. And I'll never forget, my Aunt Pat was part of Carter's Cadets. So back then, they had these drum and bugle corps, that were local to your community, and so just growing up there, you could go like a whole week without seeing a white person. It was just all so many black people.
Really?
And then I lived across the street from the Albany Projects. So I recently tried to figure out like just how many people were in the Albany Projects. The Albany Projects consisted of like 10 buildings, each building 14 stories tall. Each floor had like from letter A through P for the apartments, So when I multiplied all that out, I estimated that there were probably about 15,000 people. Just
in one building?
Yeah. No. In the whole project.
Projects.
All
Wow.
right? So you imagine out here in California where you spread 15,000 people.
Right.
Yeah.
They were on like a 4 square block area.
Yeah.
Which is,
Insane.
mind-boggling.
Yeah, and then don't have 5 kids.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Right.
So none of the apartments were like over, 2-bedroom apartments. That was it. But, I remember at one point we lived with my Aunt Elaine, and she had 4 in her family. My mother brought 4 with her, so there were 8 of us in there,
Wow.
But, back then, we made it happen.
You make it work.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
One bathroom. My kids couldn't imagine what having one bathroom is like. They're like, this is a nice house, Dad. Do I get my own bathroom? I'm like, no, you get your own bedroom and be glad.
Yeah. Yeah.
Be happy.
Be happy.
Yeah.
But it was odd coming up. We lived in in New York, you live on top of one another. So we lived in an apartment building that had 8 apartments in there. Your best friends were like in the same building, So, and if you went down the block, you felt like you were in a foreign territory sometimes,
Yeah.
But everybody, it was just great coming up because everybody, that's the difference on the East Coast. Everybody is around and everybody is close, and you live near your grandmother, and you can get on the bus and ride to this place, or you can get on your bike and ride and go into another neighborhood and see, your aunt or your cousins and stuff like that. So it was for me, it was phenomenal. It was great coming up in Brooklyn.
Cool, yeah. See, that's the exact opposite of Los Angeles.
Right,
Because we build out.
Right.
You guys build up, we build out.
That's right. That's right. If you're over on this side, you're not going to see anybody on that. Like, no, I don't think I'm going to make it over to your party tonight because I'm already over here.
Way too far.
I'm in the valley. I don't think I'm coming over the hill.
Over the mountain, yeah. No.
Which is not even that bad. People are so dramatic.
Wait a minute. You must be over the hill.
No, I'm from the valley.
Oh, okay.
But I live over
But
the
she
hill
lives
now.
over the hill. That's what it is.
They can't understand how she don't see her friends no more. Yeah, girl, I'll be there. I'm coming out there next month.
Right.
Yeah.
Put it on your calendar.
We'll have a play date.
Special trip. I got relatives in Inglewood, and they talk about me like I live out of town.
Right.
I'm like, I'm just over the hill. Just come up to 405. It's easy.
I'm just over yonder.
Yeah. So simple, but hey, it is what it is, man. Cool. You want to shoot it?
So what was it like growing up as a kid in Brooklyn? What did you want to be with all these people surrounding you and all, these jobs and people working and busy?
Wow. You know what? There's the passion that you have. So my passion was always to be in entertainment. I did impersonations of everything that came on TV. I mean, from cartoon characters to famous personalities, movie personalities, singers, everything. So I just loved the entertainment industry. But of course, my mama was like, yeah, right. Okay, get you a job, get you a high school diploma, get you a job in the post office.
Right.
So
some with benefits.
That's it. That's it. Keep going to school. One day you'll have a diploma. So that's what I did, and my second love was the law. I was a huge fan and devotee of the civil rights movement and Thurgood Marshall in particular, and so I had these dreams as a lot of young black kids do, of, changing the system from within. I'm going to go into the courtroom and I'm going to prove that black people are superior. No, I'm just going to go in there and I'm going to win the battle legally. And then when I change the laws, it will change the way people react. And I still believe in that fundamentally. But, that was something that I really aspired to do, was to become like a civil rights or criminal lawyer, and just help the people out, because I knew even back then that, in order to change the way things are, you can't change people's minds all the time or their attitudes towards you, but you can change the laws that will make them, react and make them responsible for the way they treat you.
Right.
Those were my main two goals at the time, and I think entertainment eventually took over. No matter how much I tried to do the law thing, I have a criminal justice degree from John Jay College of Criminal Justice. Ew, John Jay. And there's one guy out there right now going, yeah, my alma mama. And so I kept doing the legal thing. I got a job as a court officer. Out of any law enforcement endeavor that one could go into, I wound up working in the courts. But it's funny how life does you. It's always going to lead back to your passion. Yeah. So even when I was a court officer, there was always the comedic side of me. In fact, Judge Judy once busted me doing an impersonation of her on the bench.
Okay, right there. Yeah. You gotta do it. You gotta do it right here on Black Hollywood Live, man.
Listen, sir, I'm a truth machine. Is not an answer. But. No, I hope you never hear this, Judge. I was only kidding. I was playing.
Just playing. Keep
I was just playing.
Coming.
I love my job. I love my boss.
You love it.
Doing what he's got to do. Yeah. No, that ain't bad, though. That wasn't bad. That was pretty good. Yeah.
So, yeah, she busted me doing that one day, and I thought, I pretty much thought my career as a court officer was over at that point, but she's got a great sense
Did she give you
humor.
That face?
She did. Yeah. She gave me the mug.
Yeah.
There it is. And I was like, don't worry, Judge. Let me here's your glasses. Here's your robe. I'll just quit now.
Yeah.
I'll go and clean out my locker now.
Yeah.
But she found that funny, and that's what she remembered when we got back in contact with each other years later, and they were developing a TV show for her. That's one of the things that she remembered most, was like this big black guy with my robe on and my glasses doing a good impersonation.
Oh, you had the whole outfit on.
Oh, I had the whole outfit on.
He went the whole nine.
And having worked with her, it was just so easy to, use all her little colloquialisms and stuff, and her little smart sayings. So everybody in there was laughing, and all of a sudden it got quiet. And all eyes shifted to my left, and I was like, "You standing in the door, ain't you, Judge? I'm so busted right now.
It's over."
Mail me my check.
Is the unemployment line open now?
Yeah.
Right. Do I have to wait a week?
I'm gonna get all this dry clean for you, man.
That's right.
Yeah. That's it. I'm gonna go ahead and roll on out. I already know. I know where it is. I know. Man, okay, well, let me ask you this, jumping back to when you were growing up, because you said civil rights struggle was really pretty much, I mean, it was at its strongest point then. But I grew up in the South, so I hear the stories from my parents and everything about the Martin Luther King side of the story. Right. But you're coming from an area, granted it was uptown, because he was in Harlem, but I can't let you go without talking about Malcolm X, because you would have been about 7, 8 years old when he was assassinated.
Let me see. I'm 57, so yeah, you're right. About 8 years old when and so I heard him, Malcolm X. Didn't have a whole lot of exposure to him, because Malcolm was centered mostly in Manhattan. Yeah, and if you know anything about New York, the 5 boroughs are like as separate as you can get.
Which doesn't make any
sense. The Bronx doesn't come below Harlem. Queens is like, oh no, we're out here, we're safe. Okay, matter of fact, we bought homes just for this purpose. Yeah, and Brooklyn is like, we go everywhere. We don't care. Yeah. We go everywhere but Staten Island. I ain't getting on no boat going nowhere. You know what I'm saying?
Boats.
It's a black thing. We have a problem about boats.
Right.
Get
a little nervous.
Right. know,
Yeah.
like last time I saw him, he was getting on the Staten Island ferry, and next thing I know,
Never saw
I
him
think they
there.
got slavery over there. I think they
Right.
brought it back up.
Hey, I can't say nothing. I still get nervous when I see a white dude walking a bloodhound.
Oh,
So, you know, it happens.
And it just look at you, right?
Yeah, just if they stare at me, I have to go the other way real fast, man. But yeah, how was the struggle up there? Because a lot of people, we were talking before we came on the air, a lot of people have this misconception that a lot of the bigotry was just in the South.
Oh yeah, I mean it was blatant in the South, you know. In fact, I remember, because we talked about this earlier. I remember looking on TV on the television, and I remember when Kennedy died. You know, we saw it, the aftermath of it on television. I just remember everybody, you know, crying. I remember, you know, my mom and my aunt just being upset, just, you know, because the president had gotten shot, you know, and the most progressive president that we had up to that point. And then when King died, you know, we were devastated, you know, I mean, just like, you know, but I also remember the I Have a Dream speech and it being televised, and us, you know, we were sitting at home, and, you know, back then there was one television, okay, and whatever channel it was on, you know, we were kids. It ain't had nothing to do with us. You know, our whole purpose was to be the remote. You know, go there and change that channel to channel 5. You know, and so I remember us all sitting around watching the I Have a Dream speech and seeing history unfold on TV. You know, we would see scenes from the Vietnam War, and you know, and we would see protests. You know, and you know those things that people watch now. On CNN, CNN has this 60s documentary that's going on right now, and it's wonderful. But it was painful for me to watch, because I remember being a kid and being affected by, you know, seeing dogs sicked on my people, and seeing, you know, and this wasn't something that was separated by time. You know, this wasn't, oh, this happened once upon a time. This was like, oh, this happened a few hours ago, or this happened yesterday in Alabama, or this happened yesterday in Atlanta or Mississippi, you know. And so, you know, I just remember being deeply affected by it and making up my mind then that I didn't like white people. No, I'm going to be honest with you. I just, you know, because every time you saw this happen, you know, you were like, I don't like white people.
Right.
You know, and then you'd have to go to school the next day, and who was there? Your white teacher, you know.
Yeah, looking right at you.
But one of the things that I loved about my education in New York was that our teachers dealt with what was going on. They didn't avoid it.
That's
you
good.
know.
That's deep.
And so my elementary school teachers talked about these things and talked about these issues and made me understand that I had to be a credit to my race. You know, and I know that sounds old-fashioned to people now, but I think that that's what we should be talking about now with our youth, is being a credit to your race. That when you walk out there and you know, how you look and how you act, and when you step to the mic, what you say and all that, it fundamentally affects how people look at our race.
Yes, it does.
You know, and we shouldn't be doing anything that doesn't bring pride and dignity to our race. That's that's not old. That's not old school.
Right.
Yeah, no, that's not.
That's school.
not. Yeah.
Period.
Forever.
You know?
Like that should never change.
That's right.
Yeah,
That's
it
right.
should never change. So, did you have another part of your question?
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
Go ahead.
I mean, I got more.
I see
just,
your notes. Like, you have good notes.
Well, come on. When y'all got to ask? Otherwise, I got to come over there and get your notes.
Let me pull it up to 1986.
Okay.
When you originally met Judge Judith Sheindlin.
Right.
You were working at the Family Court Division in Manhattan at this point.
Right.
Now, you said you were caught up in between entertainment and law, but law pretty much won out early because of the stability, I would guess. Yeah.
Right.
Okay, so you go into you're fully in the law now.
Right.
This is it. This is your job.
Right. This is my job, and I'm going to school for it part-time, you know.
Yeah.
That's what I wanted to ask. Sorry. No.
Oh, now she got the question. Now she remember.
Oh, by the way, you be quiet over there. I'm talking now. It's my turn.
Let me back now. I see where I am.
Right. So you were in school, and then you got the job to work in the court.
Right.
How did you get that job?
Took a civil service test. It
Okay.
was just that simple, you know. But the funny thing about it is because New York has 8 million people, like any job that's posted in the, you know, any civil service job that's posted, you can guarantee like 50,000 applicants are going to go for that job.
Right.
You know, it's like, okay, we got 4 positions, you know. And so I took a civil service test. Took a while for me to get the job, but all the while, I maintained having another job. I was working at Kings County Hospital, which was the hospital I was born in Crown Heights, and so I was doing that. And when the job became available, I was already in school. I was already in John Jay College and already, you know, continuing to study for my degree. Of course. I always tell people, you know, I love the fact of having a 4-year degree. It was 12 of the toughest years of my life.
Right.
You know, so,
Hello.
Notice what he said, people.
Right.
He said 12 years.
Yeah, that's
Don't
right.
quit.
That's right. I spent 20 years at school one day. You know?
Yeah.
So that was it. So I just kept going part-time. And then the good part was that once I got the job as a court officer, John Jay College allowed free credits to those who were in civil service branches,
nice.
firemen, police officers, correction officers, court officers. We all got to go and take 2 classes for free. So I was like, all right, cool. I'm already here, and that was working towards my eventual degree in criminal justice.
Yeah. Well, just cause
Back to you.
I gotta ask this now because we since we've gone down this
Here
road.
it come.
What was going on in those years before that?
Yes.
When you were trying to figure out school, law, entertainment.
Okay, my oldest daughter was born, and she was the inspiration, and she was the catalyst through which I decided to take the court officer's test because I wanted a better job with better benefits and everything. And working at Kings County was cool, but you know, I wanted something more. And so they call police officers New York's finest. They call the firefighters New York's bravest. They call the court officers New York's smartest because we have a limited jurisdiction, but we have statewide peace officer status.
Right.
We work 9 to 5, and once the court is closed down, we're
good.
off.
Yeah.
And so that was cool. And I didn't really have, tell the truth, I didn't really have like a law enforcement mentality, Matter of fact, when I first went there, they called me the social worker because I was always trying to help somebody out, get them to the right lawyer, get the right social worker on their case. Because I worked in Manhattan Family Court, Brooklyn and Manhattan Family Court, and so I understood what was going on there because I had been a product of some of that stuff. In fact, I had a daughter, and her mother and I didn't get along at first, and every time I turned around, I wound up either in court for child support. Let me say this now because I don't want nobody judging me.
Right.
I was paying my child support. She wanted more child support. So she would go for upward modification. Meanwhile, I was going in like, hey, I want to have my daughter, for overnight visitation every other week, so I can wake up and be a dad to her and all of that, So it's difficult to try to get your situation straight with your significant other or the mother of your child if you two don't have it where you're communicating properly. So sometimes the best thing to do is to go to court and have the court make a decision, and that way you have a basic foundation. And then you can
go around that,
build around it. And so that's what we wound up doing. So I had experience going to court, and this was while I was a court officer. So I understood, the people that were coming into Manhattan Family Court. I understood some of their problems and some of the issues they face, and it's not easy trying to, raise your child if your child is acting unruly. They might be declared a person in need of supervision, or PINS kid as we call them. So, you might have to bring your kid to court to get them to understand that, in my house, you got to do what I say.
Right.
And at that point was where it was starting to be like, kids were like, hey, I got these rights, and I'm calling my lawyer and my social worker's like, And where you gonna live after that?
Yeah.
Hello.
Yeah.
You didn't plan on
Come
staying
now.
here, did you?
We can't take
Did
care
you
of
call
like
the
that.
police on me?
Yeah. It happens too, man. Still today.
And still today, yeah.
Yeah.
You know, so it was great working in Manhattan Family Court because, you know, for me it was just it was never just about law enforcement. It was about, you know, hey, you know, you got to understand people, and I always found that if you understand people, and you know, the Bible says a harsh word stirs up wrath, but you know, but a kind word, you know, a gentle word soothes, you know. And so that was always me. I was never the kind, you know, oh yeah, you know, I'm the big bad guy with the badge and all that. You know, I'm just like, hey, sit down, let's talk about this. You know, maybe I can help you out.
Yeah, the intellectual fixer. I like that. Yeah. All right, so Petri Byrd walks into work one day, and on the bench is supervising family court judge Judith Sheindlin. How does that go when you guys first meet?
Wow. Well, we were placed in different parts all the time. Every month we rotate into different parts. So I remember my first couple of months in Manhattan Family Court, I got placed with some judges. I will not mention any names, but man, some of them made Judge Judy look like, you know, a pussycat. You know,
Oh,
what I mean,
wow.
they were just mean. You
Really?
know.
Yeah.
Oh,
And you know
man.
how hard that is right now for everyone watching this.
To imagine.
We've been watching the show, and granted, we know that's
There's a
been
meaner
benefit.
judge
Yeah.
than Judge Judy.
Right.
Where is this person?
Right.
And make sure I never go in that court.
Ever.
Yeah.
Right. This one is on a TV show on Mars somewhere. You know, like, this is alien, totally alien. But anyway, so just about the time that I was probably getting to be miserable with the judges that they were placing me with, they placed me with supervising judge Judith Sheindlin, and to work with her every day was a blessing because you would watch her, and I would just watch her. She was just tough, but she was funny. She was witty. So everything everybody sees now, I saw the precursor back then, and she was just a pistol. I called her the Joan Rivers of the judicial world, man, because she had such a quick wit.
Yeah,
you know,
she
she would say things to people, and I'd just be like, "Did she just say that from the bench?" You know, or like she would she told one guy, the guy comes in there, and he's telling her why he can't pay his child support. And she's like, you know, but you all this money, this and other, and why can't you pay this child support? You know, she says, I see listed down here amongst your assets, you have, you know, 2 Mercedes and all. So she goes, I tell you what, you need to sign one of those over. So the guy goes, well, no, I refuse. I'm not going to do that. And his lawyer was like, no, Your Honor, that's not fair. So the judge looks at me and she goes, Officer Byrd, go take Mr. Johnson downstairs and show him our accommodations for those who are unwilling to part with their vehicles. Right? So I go behind him, and you know, we had this routine, you know. So I'm the tough black guy,
Right.
and she's
There
the
he
little white lady,
There
like
it is.
just
Yeah, she's
just cutting it down, you know.
Yeah.
And so I get behind him and I cuff him and everything. So he's already shocked, and I lead him out of the courtroom, take him downstairs, and so that might be 10 o'clock in the morning. Around 4:30.
Wow.
She would look, she go, oh yeah, Mr. Johnson's still downstairs, isn't he? Go and see if he's changed his mind about signing over. You know? And so you go downstairs and you go get him, man. You bring him back up. He's like, where do I sign?
Yeah,
Right.
how many? Do you just want one?
That's why
Right,
you see.
you just
That's
want
why
one,
you
right.
see on TV. You always see me with a pen.
Yeah,
always ready. There you are.
that's-
No.
Always ready, because you never know.
And if that one ain't waking, I got a whole
got
bunch of them
another.
over here. You
Yeah.
know what I'm saying? But don't worry about it. You're going to sign this over, partner.
Man. Dudes got they
So
got
that was the kind of vibe she worked on, you know, and it was just fun. It was always fun working with her. The funny part is, most people think that, you know, that I was her bailiff like all the time, and it's like I probably worked with her 2 months, maybe 3 months out of the entire time I was there. But, you know, she left a lasting impression on me, and apparently I left one on her.
Yeah, obviously.
Especially being on the bench in her robe. So,
Yeah, that would have something to do
probably
with
had
it.
nightmares about that, you know.
Go home.
He's got my robe again.
Did that Negro have on my robe?
Right?
Right.
Big black man with the doily on. Right?
Yeah.
You know?
How did she get a show? How did they pick her up for a show?
Somebody, I don't know how it happened, but somebody from 60 Minutes decided, you know, that, you know, I guess they had experienced her and heard that she was like probably the toughest judge in any court in the country or something. So 60 Minutes did a segment on her. And from that segment, somebody saw it and said, you know what, the only judge we got on really right now is Judge Wapner on the People's Court, and it looks like he's getting ready to retire. So, you know, hey, this might be a good time, and you know. And at the time, only thing that was on really was these talk shows, you know, that exploited people's stuff, you know. So the Ricky Lakes and the Sally Jesse Raphael and my man Jerry Springer, you know. And so I think America was just ready for somebody, you know, with some integrity who had some answers and wasn't afraid to let you know what she thought, you know, and wasn't afraid to hold people accountable. And that fit Judith Sheindlin to a T.
To a T, yeah.
Cool. Well, before that show came to fruition, you and your family ended up in the Bay Area.
True that.
Yeah, and you were working with U.S. Marshals.
Yeah, I left New York. My wife was from the Bay Area. Was from San Francisco.
Okay.
We had and I don't mind telling it because that's our testimony. We had some marital problems. She left and came out here to California. I came out after her to see my kids one Christmas, and we reconciled, and we were getting ready. We were thinking about moving back to New York, and I was told by a power greater than myself that it's time for you to move west, young man. You've done about all I can do with you in New York. I need for you to be somewhere where I can talk to you and I can deal with you by yourself. And so we found an apartment out here. I got my first driver's license.
Oh, yeah.
32 years old.
Right.
Yeah,
Man.
New York.
Yeah.
I know, New York, man.
Yeah.
You know, well, I don't need no driver's license.
Yeah,
you know,
and you wouldn't.
I got this bicycle and I got the train. I'm
Yeah.
straight, you know. And so that's how we wound up out here. We reconciled, and one day I was just on the beach watching my son running along the beach, and I was like, man, you know, I can give him 15 good years out here, you know, and some place to breathe, and you know. So I told her, I said, hey, how'd you like to move out here? And she said, yeah, and that was it. So when I went back to New York, they were looking at me like I was crazy, you know, because I was, you know, on my job. I was making a good salary and all that kind of stuff. And I didn't know what was facing me on the West Coast. But like I said, I didn't know what the future held, but I knew who held the future. So,
Right.
There you go,
so
man.
that was that, man.
Good
And came
quote.
on out here. I you know, and it was the best move I ever made. None of this stuff happens if I'm not obedient to come out here and, you know, try to step off the shore and discover some new waters.
Take
Yeah.
that jump, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what Steve Harvey's got a video out right now when someone asked him what's the secret to being successful, and he said, you got to jump. You got to step up to that cliff and you got to jump.
That's for real.
It. Yeah.
That's real.
Cool.
Check that parachute first, though.
Yeah,
Just in case.
that was the other catch.
That's
She
right.
said, when you jump, that parachute won't open.
Right.
Said you're gonna see people soaring past you, and they're gonna be, you know, that's people going, you know, vacationing in France
Right.
and going out on their boats, and you'll see them flying past you, and you're gonna take your bumps and your bruises because you're gonna
Right.
hit a couple walls, but eventually that parachute's gonna open, and
That's
you're gonna
right.
soar with
You
everybody
forgot
else.
the rain.
Right.
The rain's going to come.
Yeah, that's true.
Unless by mistake you grab somebody's backpack. You
Yeah,
know? So
yeah,
you're like,
that's
wait a minute, what's
like,
this
wait.
banana? I
He
need a
said what I wanted.
parachute.
It's not the right thing. That's why you got to to check because some people jump without even checking.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
Move somewhere. It's like, man, I don't have a job, place to stay, nothing. Just think it out.
That's
Think it
right.
out.
Well, my pastor used to always say, he said, faith is not a leap in the dark, it's a walk in the light.
It really is.
That's it. So, news of her getting the show
Right.
came
right,
to you. And
right.
You wrote her a congratulatory letter, right?
Yeah, that was it. I did the U.S. Marshal Service for about 3 years, and
How'd you get that job?
the U.S. Marshal. You know what? My father-in-law, we were walking down the street in San Francisco, and he ran into an old friend of his who worked for court security for the U.S. Marshal Service, and you know, I, at that point, I was talking about moving out, and the guy was like, "Hey, why don't you apply with us? You know, in the meantime, you know, until you figure out exactly what you want to do."
Yeah.
And so I applied for it, got the job, and started working there. And these were most of these guys were retired from military or from police service, you know. So I was the only one there that was like, you know, this is it for me, man. I'm just starting out, you know. I'm the youngest guy here. But I did that for about 3.5 years. And then a friend of mine talked to me about the possibility of doing what became my third passion, which is, and it was always working with kids. You know, I used to back in Brooklyn, I used to do summer day camps, and I worked in, what's the other thing? The daycare. You know, so I've worked with kids from like 5 years old on through to 18. So there came an opportunity to be a campus supervisor at a high school in the Bay Area. So I took that, and
Monta Vista, right?
Monta Vista High School,
Yeah.
yep. And so there I was known as the Velvet Hammer.
Yo,
That's a perfect name.
that's got to be the best nickname I've ever heard. 'Cause
Who gave you that?
A vice principal by the name of Joanne Laird. She lives in Maui now, and she's retired. But that was her nickname for me. She said, "You know, you're the Velvet Hammer."
That's
She
a
said,
perfect
because
name.
you have a smooth way of luring the kids in, and bam, you lower the hammer on them. You know.
that's funny.
And so you know, I remember one kid told me, he said, "I'm not going in your office." I said, "Why not?" He said, No, because I heard people go in your office and they start telling everything, and they don't know why. They come out and they don't know why they told everything. That's Velvet Hammer, my friend. You know, I was like a superhero. The Velvet Hammer.
Yeah.
What's your superpower? I can get you to tell anything.
Yeah.
Because it's smooth and I come down with the hammer. You know, so I was doing that.
Wait, are you that way at home too with your kids?
I am.
Oh.
I am. My kids will tell you that if they have a dilemma, if they have a problem, you know, even if it's something that I know that they're doing it bass-ackwards, I will sit you down and I'm going to make you think about it. I'm going to let you tell me, you know. So, you know, if I sit you down, they know the moment they enter my office or the moment that we sit down, I go, "Hey, I need to talk to you about something." They know it's like, okay, and they start confessing things that I was like, no, right. I just wanted to know if you took the garbage out, but tell me more about this girl that you're seeing that you think might be having a baby. No.
Wait, and it may not, but maybe be yours.
And it may be yours, or maybe it ain't. Talk to me. No, but that's the way I've always been, especially dealing with youth. Is that, you know, my thing is that you have to think for yourself. So you know the difference between right and wrong, and if you really, you know, and if you don't, then you really, really need to start thinking along those lines. Because if I'm not here, what are you gonna do? You know, so the best thing for you to do is, for us to do, is to sit and discuss whatever your problem is, or whatever you think the problem is, and let you come to some conclusions. So let's lay it out, and then bring it down, narrow it down to some simple choices, and then you make the choice. You know, if your choice counters what I think, I will tell you what I think, but I won't force you to do it, because ultimately your consequences are your own. You know, I can't, you know, I can't lay in the bed you make, so you have to lay in it. Yeah, and that was the way, you know, that was the way I dealt with the kids. You know, and it's funny because I think through that, kids feel like you respect their intelligence.
Yeah.
And you respect their opinion. And when they feel safe enough that you respect their opinion, then they feel safe enough to opinionate and to make decisions. You know, so that's pretty much it.
You ever had one of those just hard-headed kids didn't want to? Everybody's had a few of those.
You know, not only do I know them, I own a couple. You know, you know, yeah, you know, and it's at those times when my philosophy really kicks in, because I'm not the type to go off and holler and do all that kind of stuff. It's like, fine, that's your decision,
your choice.
That's your choice. But understand something, I'm not going to pay for your choice. It's as simple as that. You know, and my daughter, my oldest girl, is 31, and to this day, she will call me to ask my advice, and she goes, "Daddy, I know what you're gonna do. You're gonna make me think about it, and I got to make up my mind, and all that kind of stuff. You know, could you just tell me this time, Daddy?" And I'm like, "No, no, because you'll never be able to say, you know." But I said, "I'll tell you what. If I give you some advice and you follow it, and it doesn't work out, I got your back.
Right.
But if I give you some advice and you decide to go counter what I told you, well, you on your own like Patti LaBelle."
Woo.
Not like Patty.
Without Michael McDonald. Yeah.
Oh, no.
You're on your own.
Michael McDonald is nowhere around without.
Is it just me, or does nobody else understand what he's saying when he's saying?
Oh, no, it's nobody. Yeah.
Everyone loves that song.
But they,
Everyone.
and you know,
And
you
they
just
get dancing. They're like, they don't know
Nobody
the words
knows.
either.
and then they come in minute by minute, and be like, "Hey, man,
Oh my
no idea what he
God.
was saying."
I
Man.
guarantee that song's gonna come on Smooth Jazz when we live
Yeah,
here. And
it's
I'll
got
be
to.
like,
We got to outro to that if we can. I know it's not possible. I know it's not Booth, but I would love to outro to that.
I love it. He's just so
Yeah.
smooth. It's just like,
Yeah.
if I just knew what he was saying.
Right.
What? Yeah.
What is that song?
What is that song?
Just type in Patti LaBelle featuring Michael McDonald. You'll see it.
On my own.
On my own. You've heard it. I promise you. Oh man, I don't even know where to go from that. That was a perfect laugh break. Okay, let me see. Where do we want to hit?
Well, we should get into stand-up comedy. Did you do some stand-up comedy? I did read that you did. Are you like
I did.
actor, some acting,
Uh-oh, see?
comedy?
She got some notes I don't have.
I did stand-up comedy in Brooklyn, which is probably the most dangerous place you can
Yes.
do stand-up comedy, because if they don't like you,
Oh, you
it's
gonna
not
know
that
it.
they don't applaud. You
Right.
know, they start
They're like,
throwing knives.
"We
You know?
hate you."
That's right. But
Die.
but it was cool because I opened for a couple of local bands and stuff like
Cool.
that, and so I did that. I did like off-Broadway stuff, community theater type of stuff, and I was just I was always kind of prided myself on having a good sense of humor. I always thought of myself as very witty. Thank you.
You are.
And mostly it was the impersonations though, and I would do impersonations. This is the crazy part. I would do impersonations for no reason. I'd be in the middle of the conversation and just start impersonating somebody, and my friends would just go, "What is the matter with him?" And they're
Right.
like, "How many people are living in there?" Well, I can tell you that. I can tell you right now, man. I know that Sammy is in here.
He's in there.
He's in there and he's singing Altavis. So.
Yeah, you're
Bring
definitely
the rest of the
Velvet
Rat Pack.
Hammer.
Yeah.
Like that name is
That's
just
right.
getting
Yeah.
more
It's
and more
perfect.
Right,
perfect.
right.
You just need to change your name to Velvet Hammer.
That's right, Velvet Hammer.
It's funny because you're sitting down right now. People can't see because we're in the studio and we're sitting in the chairs behind the desk. But this is not a small man.
At all.
Like when he walked in and I'm like, oh, that's
You're
why
like,
you're
"Where do I
famous.
go?
Like,
Where's
yeah. Let me formulate my escape route just in case stuff don't work out.
That's right.
Yeah.
In case he's looking for somebody that's got his money, right?
Yeah,
Excuse
yeah.
me, I'm
Right.
looking for Bob. He got my money.
Tell me I was interviewing Debo today. Yeah. But you started talking, and I was like, oh man, this dude is way smoother than people even think to know because the show shows so small of an amount of your entire personality. Like you could, man, you'd like on your own show.
You know, and I'm looking forward to that one day. You know,
you could definitely have like a psychology or like a, I don't know, like I don't know, like your own talk show, really.
Okay.
And just talk to people. Kind of
like
like
it.
a Dr. Phil, but better than Dr. Phil.
Yeah, listen, I'd like you to sit down. I just want to tell you something because I believe that you're going to have a problem. We'll be right back after this word.
Right.
You ever notice Dr. Phil never. It's
Never.
like he ain't never answering nothing, but he going to be right back.
He'll be right back.
I'm going to give you the answer after we pay some bills. After we pay some bills.
That's right.
Man, talk to us a little bit about the OK program that you worked with.
Okay, the OK program is a black male mentorship program that was started in 1990 by a good friend of mine, Donald Norcross. Donald is a former deputy sheriff from Sacramento County. And he just noticed an inordinate amount of young black males going into the system, but not coming out. You know, it was almost like a roach hotel type of deal. You know, they check in, but they don't check out. And he knew that there was something wrong with that. And upon looking at the statistics, you know, black males represent 6% of the population here in the United States. They represent almost 50% of the prisoners. So how could 6% of the population be committing 50% of the crimes? No, it's just that you don't have, you know, you don't have the outs. You don't get the probation like this guy gets, or you know, your daddy doesn't play golf with the you know with the prosecutor or with the judge. You know, and so. And so Donald decided to do something about it, and what he did was involve himself with the young men on a regular basis. So he went to the local middle school in Rancho Cordova, California, where he was the deputy sheriff, and he just went on the campus and talked to the young black boys that were on there, invited them to come out on Saturday. The school allowed him to use the gym and to bring the young men there on Saturdays and have what they call kick-it sessions, where they would just sit and talk about issues facing young black males on a regular basis. Gang warfare in that area was rampant. Drug sales and drug use was proliferated the community, and Donald almost single-handedly cleaned that up just by getting the young men to know that this officer cared about them. And so they would come out on Saturdays, and they would, you know, Donald would give them free lunch. You know, they would also make what they call OK juice, which is just this high potency sweetened Kool-Aid, but there's some kind of magic that they do with it, man, and the kids can't get enough of it. So, but they would come out there, and you know, he would play basketball with them, and they, you know, and so there was a positive peer group influence as opposed to a negative peer group influence that occurred between the young men, and they started to take responsibility for themselves. Plus, at the end of every school year, he would entice them with trips to, you know, to Yosemite, or they would, you know, one time he said they got in some buses and they came down here to Magic Mountain, you know, and so, but you had to earn those trips, and that meant that you had to have at least a 2.5 grade point average. You had to have almost near perfect attendance in school, you know, and you had to have the recommendation of your teachers and stuff like that, you know. And so that's what they started aiming for. You know, it's like, oh man, I want to go on a trip this year, man. You know, last year we went camping and such and such. So, you know, I want to go to this. And so that became the incentive for them to do better in school and to look out for one another. And then they would pass that on to their younger brothers, you know. So, you know, their younger brothers would look and say, oh, I can't wait to get in the OK program because my big brother's in there and he's doing so well. You know, and you know, as I said before, you and I talked about this earlier, that the number one killer of young African American males ages 15 to 34 is homicide, and generally at the hands of another African American male. And so, you know, Donald almost single-handedly turned those statistics around, at least in Rancho Cordova. And so to date, no OK kid has been killed at the hands of, you know, at the hands of another young black man. None of them have been incarcerated, and in fact, they have excelled. You know, so we have alumni who have gone into the law, become lawyers, have become deputy sheriffs, you know, have gone into, you know, all manner of different type of careers. And it's all because one man said, we've had enough, and we have to take responsibility for our young black males. And as Don always says, and I totally agree with him, this is our job.
Yeah.
We shouldn't expect anybody else to take care of our young men. They're our responsibility.
And that's what the OK stands for.
The
our
OK
kids.
Our kids. That's right.
Right.
Absolutely.
I
Yeah.
get it. So it's reach one, teach one. It's such like it's such a trickle down effect. Even just one, like you said, their sibling or their friend. And
That's right.
who doesn't want to go on a trip and have fun? I mean, what's fun? Selling drugs on corner, or going and broadening your horizon and just telling your friends, I've been here.
I
I've
don't
been
know.
here.
Selling drugs on the corner can have its upsides.
But no one really sells drugs for fun.
I'm a street corner pharmacist, and what do you need?
Right.
You know,
The problem comes in that aggressive takeover. That's the problem when the other companies don't like.
When they don't like it, they're getting in your way.
Yeah, you know.
I get it.
That creates the problem. Other than that,
And is that how you got into radio?
oh man, just you know, a little bit. I do stand up too. So let me stop for Maria coming in here.
Okay, let's get serious now.
For a second.
What child can you remember, or a story that you, now that you're a part of the program and it's a big part of your life, what instance or child can you remember that you feel that you've impacted, or that has impacted you?
Okay. This is actually a very simple story, but it's very poignant.
Okay.
One of the things that I did, Donald, when I first met him, asked me to be on his national board. So I serve as the chair of the national board. But I'm not one of those chairmen that, like, you know, okay, we'll go over here and we'll raise the money and y'all stay over there. You know, I go down there to the kickage sessions. I've traveled to different places where the OK program is, Indianapolis, Indiana, Little Rock, Arkansas, Monroe, Louisiana, you know, Omaha, Nebraska. So I've gone to these different places and met with the students and talked with them, and, you know. Anyway, there was one young man, and we did a program with the Men's Warehouse. Okay, and I believe that that's part of my philosophy, that you have to be exposed to certain things. You can't look at a young man and say, "Oh, see, his pants are sagging. See, that's the problem. You know, just pants sagging." It's like, if that's their style, don't illegitimize that style. Just let them know that there's an alternative, that, you know, you can't wear that style to a business meeting. So show them how to dress properly for a business meeting, or to go to a family function or a wedding. So I went to the Men's Warehouse and I asked them to do some workshops with the young men, Dress for Success workshops. And no better place than the Men's Warehouse, because the Men's Warehouse can dress you from head to toe. They have everything.
The entire thing.
You know? And so the Men's Warehouse said, "Great, that'd be wonderful." I said, "Not only will you be doing a community service, but you'll be starting a customer base, a future customer base."
Right.
Because where are they going to come? They're going to come to the Men's Warehouse, where they learn how to dress. So we had them do the workshop at the Men's Warehouse. We took the boys down to the Men's Warehouse. And there was one young man that kept saying to me, "I just want to know what it's like to wear a tuxedo." He was probably about 13 years old, 12, 13 years old. He just kept saying, "I just want to wear a tuxedo. I want to try on a tuxedo." And so I talked to one of the salespeople that was helping us out with the workshop, and they asked for some volunteers to model the clothes. And it was great, because those volunteers would come in with, T-shirts and ripped jeans and,
Right.
and sagging. And next thing you know, man, they get a look at themselves and see the potential
Yeah.
of what they could be, And so he volunteered, and we put him in a tuxedo. And I have the pictures at home, and it kind of brings tears to my eyes every time I see him, because I remember that day how proud he was.
Yeah.
And we took numerous pictures of him, and we videotaped him, and he was just so proud.
Right.
Well, recently I heard from this young man, and he is in culinary school.
Look at him.
And he went to a function where he had to serve as, the head chef there.
Right.
This was part of his school curriculum, and he said that he needed a tuxedo. So what did he do? He went to the men's warehouse.
Yep.
And so this was his second time wearing a tuxedo, and
Yeah.
he said, "Mr. Byrd, I was more comfortable in it this time," he said, "because I understood the purpose." He said, and you said it to me back then. He said, "I never forgot it, that you only have one chance to make a first impression." And so he said, that was what I wanted to do, in presenting my meal and my menu plan for the, for this event. He said, I wanted to present it and make that first impression. And so I rented a tuxedo, and he said it was a total success. So, that just, for me, it just goes to show me that when our children are exposed to better, they think better, and they can set goals. You if you can't see it, you can't be it.
Right.
So at some point, you have to be able to visualize what it is you want to do and what you want to be. And so
That's it.
Well, that's
Man.
super inspiring.
Yeah.
I'm like in tears.
Yeah, that was a great story. I kind of want to go ahead and put on tux myself now, man.
there you go.
Yeah, but let me get you out of here on this. Let me ask you one final question. What advice or influence would you like to leave with anyone watching you on this broadcast right now?
Wow. Man, we come from a people that are so gifted. And we spend so much time living beneath our privilege. We spend so much time immersed in mediocrity. But we come from the best. We have taken absolutely nothing.
Yeah.
And made something, and not just something, but great somethings out of it. We have changed the face of the way the world looks at the world itself.
Yeah.
We've changed sports. We've changed medicine. We've changed music. We've changed spirituality. We in every category we've made these leaps and bounds. Now, I don't say that so that we get puffed up on ourselves. I say that because that the potential to be great is in every single black person out there. And if I were going to leave anything, it's be a credit to your race. Be a credit to your race.
That's perfect.
Well said. Yeah.
perfect.
If anybody wants to get in contact and help you with OK program or any of the other units you work with, how could they reach you?
They can go to okprogram.org. That's the letters OK, program.org. Go on there. We have different ways that you can help us, especially financially, but by all means, go in there and educate yourself about the OK program. And if you need the OK program in your community, contact us through that. And I'm on Facebook, Petri Byrd, Petri PB Max Byrd. So you can go on there, and I won't refuse you.
Cool. Yeah.
I'm pretty much an open book, keep watching Judge Judy. I need the money.
Yeah, there it is.
And Twitter,
Yeah,
Byrd the Bailiff.
Byrd the
Bailiff.
Bailiff.
Yeah, BYRD, the Bailiff. And please don't do like one guy did. He said, are you really Byrd? No, Burt, Burt, the Bailiff? I was like, what is a
No,
bailiff, man?
Right.
Not even a real thing.
A mine is a terrible thing to waste.
He needs an okay program.
Yeah, definitely.
Or spell check.
Yeah.
But Byrd the bailiff.
Cool, cool. Byrd the bailiff is where you can find him in English. Where can the people find you?
You guys can find me, as always, on Instagram, English Speaks, as well as Twitter, English Speaks.
Cool. And you can always find me on Twitter under Rome the Ruler. And you can catch me here for AfterBuzz TV doing the WWE SmackDown recap show. And you can always catch me here on Black Hollywood Live. I would like to take this moment to thank you profusely for coming on this show, Mr. Byrd. This is great talking to you. I hope everybody's got a lot out of it. And yeah, I think that's it for another episode of Success is the New Black on Black Hollywood Live.
Black on Black.
Black on Black. For myself, Rome Moore, for English Cleveland, and for the Velvet Hammer himself.
and it reminds me of this color, too.
I know, right?
Yeah,
It's like the perfect, velvet hammer.
Move over, Ruben Studdard.
I'm the Velvet Hammer.
Right.
Ruben Studdard can't be the only one in Velvet. All right, we'll catch you guys next week.
Thank you.
From producers Maria Menounos, Dario Kristen, Tiana Hobson, Kevin Undergaro, and the entire BHL crew, we would like to thank you for supporting Black Hollywood Live, the first online broadcast network dedicated to African American entertainment. For questions and comments, contact us at info@blackhollywoodlive.com. Like us on Facebook, tweet us, or Instagram us at BHL Online. And I'm your BHL announcer, Scipio. Instagram me at Planet Scipio. Thank you for tuning in.
Hollywood Redefined.
The views expressed here are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of BHL or its owners or principals.
Thanks for watching Black Hollywood Live on YouTube. For more in-depth interviews and news, subscribe to our channel here, and be sure to share your opinion in the comment section below here. See you soon, everyone. Bye.